Every Pokemon journey starts the same way. Get a professor, get a pokedex, and trust everything they tell you. But what if I told you the pokedex would be more of a mystery than a science book? Because the more I looked into the lore, the less it made sense. The professors are responsible for some absolutely insane information. For example, magcargo. The pokedex says it's 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hotter than the surface of the sun. If that's true, why isn't every town near a magcargo instantly vaporized? And then there's Gardevoir. Pokemon supposedly create black holes. Why is the Pokemon world still standing? Either Pokemon are far more dangerous than we thought, or someone got the facts wrong. Okay, now this is kind of ridiculous. The Pokedex claims a trainer with victini will always win. But how did that fact get in there? Maybe a professor saw a victini once and wrote it down. Or even more likely, they got that info from an ancient book or wall carving written by some guy thousands of years ago who just never saw victini lose. I mean, if they're getting information from that, fair enough. I mean, yeah. But this shows that the Pokédex getting notes from ancient history further than it being a science report. Now, trubbish is like made out of waste. Like literally, it's made out of toxic waste. Yet in the anime, people live with them, and it gets more concerning. Driflloon supposedly tries to kidnap children. Yeah, I'm not making this up. If this is a known fact, why aren't warning signs being placed at every playground for caution? Are the professors keeping a dark secret, or is this just an urban legend? Now, all these Pokédex entries may sound crazy, and they actually don't make sense. Until I realized one thing, that changed everything. The Pokédex is completed by children. Think about it for a second. The most trusted source of Pokemon information in the world might be built from reports made by 10-year-olds. Hence why we go and complete the Pokédex. When you catch a Pokemon, the Pokédex instantly generates information. Yeah, pretty obvious, right? It generates entire pages of information. Its behaviors, its diet, its abilities. Did Professor Oak watch every Snorlax eat hundreds of thousands of pounds? Did he follow every driflloon to see what it does all day? Probably not. So where is all this information coming from? Maybe the Pokédex is using old research, or maybe it's using local legends. Maybe it's making educated guesses on what little information it has. Because if the Pokédex isn't recording facts, and it's actually combining science, myths, and observations, then every strange Pokédex entry starts making sense a lot more. Now, I want to be clear, I don't think Professor Oak is lying to us. After all, completing the Pokédex was his lifelong dream. He dedicated his entire career to this. But maybe, in his rush to gather all that data, he had to rely on whatever information he could find. He's not a liar, he's just probably a researcher working with a very mysterious world. So what do you think? Are the Pokemon professors working with incomplete information? Or is the Pokédex just a book of mysteries? Personally, I do think there are some solid information in the Pokédex that we can all rely on when playing Pokemon. But some just don't make sense. If you could ask Professor Oak one question about the entries, what would it be? Let me know in the comments and subscribe for more Pokemon mysteries, because trust me, the Pokemon world gets a lot stranger than this.